and welcome to Discovering DataFlex with me, Johan Brodfeldt. Today we're continuing the journey with developing the system Argus, and we have gone as far as we have a template view and we have a resource view, and now we're going to clean up the resource view a little bit, because this is the place where we're going to view resources, add files, change dates, change values, and keep track of things. So we want this one to look really good. And looking at this, it's kind of boring. And we cannot really do much. DataFlex does not really allow us to have like different values for different rows in columns. Might be possible to do with the new widgets and containers, but I'm more confident in the web HtmlList right now, so that is the approach we're taking. And let's have a look at that. So for starters, here is our grid, and we would like to add an HTML list down here. So lists, HTML list, and now we just want to clean up a bit. We don't want this column here, we want these columns instead. And for them to be DB aware, we need to set the server. And I would like to make this a little bit more readable. And to start with, the first column is the label. You can just put that in there. And we would like the value and the 2 buttons. So we want the attribute value. And then we would like a button edit and a button delete. So that looks a little bit more like what I'm looking for. Now we can remove this. Comments out for now, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's not pretty yet. That's for another video, but at least we can play with some HTML. We have some buttons and we can do stuff here. And what we're going to start with is we're going to make these button works so that we can actually add something. We can actually delete this, we don't need that. And in order to get any of these buttons to work, there is a procedure on element click that has a parameter. And we also need a data server on click equals edit item, and we want to do something similar for the delete button, where we have delete item. And in here we can have an if case that checks if our s param is edit item, then we do the edit stuff, and if it's the delete button, we do delete stuff. And now we can also clean up this. We don't need all of these values, we just need the entry items here. We want to do an edit, so we want to send popup to an edit modal panel. So we want to create a new modal panel. There we have a modal dialog. Edit attribute. I think is a good name for that. All right. And here we have our panel, and here we're going to put some things. And we're going to use this pop up the dialog. So let's uncomment that. Here is where we're going to initialize our properties. And in order to open this one, let's see, did we add this here as well? Yes, we got it in there. So send pop up the dialog of edit attribute. And this one is taking a set of parameters. What I did the first time I made this was I sent the value, the type, and everything over here. I updated it the way I wanted, and then I sent it back and saved it on the resource zoom view. But I want to do it slightly different, so I'm actually gonna do sRow ID, and then I'm gonna use the row ID here instead to get what I want out of it. And before I go back to the resource zoom view, I'm gonna save it. And because we want to manage data dictionary, we want things to be DB aware here. We would like to add some attributes and our resources. Yes. So we have those. And now we can go in here and send find by row ID of O attribute dd ref table attribute, and this takes a parameter deserialize row ID is row ID, and that should make sure that we have the same attribute and resource in our data dictionary in this modal pop-up as we clicked on in the view. Oh, we also need to make sure that we actually provide the row ID, because we have the row ID here. We include it there. So now we should be able to continue working with our data dictionary intact. All right. As I was editing this video, I realized that it had become too long for my taste, and I'm breaking it up. This video was about the framework, setting up the HTML list and the modal box. In the next video, we're going to focus more on the configuration of the modal box to make sure that it works as we want it to. And then in the third part, we're going to connect the data so that we can update and save and delete and all this stuff. So this is it for this video, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.